Now let's switch the gears ever so slightly, Kyle. When it comes to talking about companies and crypto, we're specifically talking this time around on our episode today about specifically holding Bitcoin or Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies on your balance sheet. Tesla and other public companies have made huge waves in the past, but most recently, Time Magazine made a huge announcement. They're actually holding on to Ethereum as well. So this is part of a deal with Galaxy Digital, a part of an educational deal. They're actually going to be launching a whole Newsweek magazine in the metaverse. They're going to be educating people about the metaverse. And in this case, as part of the payment in terms, they're actually receiving Ethereum that they plan to hold onto the blockchain. Now, what does that mean for Time Magazine, Kyle? That's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, this is fascinating. We're starting to see this evolution. Maybe over the past 5 or 10 years, we've started to see corporate VCs and companies that are actually looking to launch investment sides of their business. And especially in the last 18 months where cash has been so cheap to acquire, this idea of having companies actually becoming asset managers is becoming more and more popular. And what better way to do it than in crypto? So we're seeing this opportunity where I think it's a similar kind of conversation around a traditional or normal retail investor, some individual, where they're trying to get skin in the game, right? A company like Time is trying to figure out how they can get involved in the metaverse, what all this stuff means. The best way to do it is to just begin transacting, to begin holding some of this stuff and get more familiar with what's going on.
I think that's absolutely right. I mean, now the fact is that they actually could be experimenting. They have this on balance sheet to play around with and use for research and development purposes. As we can see, they're launching into the metaverse. So when a company adopts cryptocurrency, it may not be just for an investment purpose. It may actually be a good thing for the underlying business. But as we do know, as we've seen with other companies holding Bitcoin, it tends to be much more like an investment function, right, Kyle?
Right, for sure. You're looking at MicroStrategy or Tesla, Square, all of whom have thousands of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And again, that's maybe the difference when we're talking about Bitcoin versus something like an Ethereum purchase, right? If you're buying Bitcoin, really Bitcoin, the main argument there is it's digital gold, right? It's not anything more, but it's certainly not anything less, right? And that's kind of the argument there. Whereas with something like Ethereum, you might be buying it in order to explore how to leverage smart contracts or how to operate within the ecosystem in a way that you can actually spend that inside of their ecosystems and inside of the metaverse.
I think that's a huge differentiator. But of course, Ethereum can also have a long-term impact. So it'll be interesting to see if Time actually ends up selling their Ethereum or just holding on to it, or if other companies actually start to follow suit. It actually makes for an interesting case, right, Kyle? You have a financial product. That's what a business is. Their job is to service X, or sell Y product. But now when you have a company and you match in cryptocurrency, just like Ethereum or Bitcoin, it could be just like saying, look, we're also going to, spend some money holding on to gold or silver. So now you've got this interesting financial product. This the risk profile one would consider when investing has now changed as a result of holding on to that cryptocurrency. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that they're working with Galaxy Digital here. And this further proves that point of, while I think a lot of companies can understand the value proposition of crypto, actually owning the crypto itself or having to custody or manage it themselves is still something that I think a lot of institutions as well as individuals maybe don't want. They don't want to have to worry about wallets. They don't want to have to worry about cold storage or where they're going to put it, or if they can lose their MetaMask wallet or lose or misplace their keys. They don't have to worry about any of that. Potentially the other side of the coin here is that this is more demand for securities level products and custodians and things like that that can give the exposure that these institutions want while not leaving it up to risk of losing the custody.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big issue. That might be what's preventing many other companies from getting involved and holding cryptocurrencies of any kind onto their balance sheet. In fact, one of the things that I noted here is that, of course, Time is owned by Mark Benioff, which is the co-founder or one of the founders of Salesforce. So he's a billionaire. Salesforce is a public company, whereas Time is, of course, privately owned by him. So it may not have much of an impact. I think for the cryptocurrency industry, it's big news. We've got a big major media company adopting Ethereum onto its balance sheet as well as within its, sort of service provision. So I think it's very, very big deal. But on the other end, could Salesforce be next? Could they be also doing Ethereum? This is now a major public company, probably I think maybe one of the first to publicly hold Ethereum on its balance sheet as well. So I think that could also have potentially interesting dynamics for the investment landscape.
Absolutely right. And especially with the fact that spot ETFs still don't appear to be right around the corner. You've got companies like MicroStrategy that own 114,000 Bitcoin. It's about 0.5% of the total circulating supply that they own. And you might potentially start to see companies understand this is a value proposition where they could potentially act as a pseudo, ETF of actually owning Bitcoin in a way for more retail investors to get access. Salesforce could be another company that sees the value there.
That's a great example, Kyle. I mean, that's what happens when I think, I see a company adding cryptocurrencies to their balance sheet. What does it mean? How this will affect others in their industry? How will this affect them? Does this give them a competitive advantage now? And that's an interesting line of thinking because, of course, naturally, most people might think, why don't they stay focused on media? That's their name, that's their bread and butter. And now you add this angle of cryptocurrency, and who knows, now it actually might prove to be an advantage because their investment gives them greater return, which means more cash to use for their business. Or perhaps, as we see with Time Magazine and other places, they might actually incorporate some of this functionality and application within their business to also give them an edge over their competition. So I don't know about you, but to review, I think there's a lot every time a major company like Time Magazine announces that they're getting involved in cryptocurrency. We see the cryptocurrency industry have more confidence and validation. They get excited. The assets typically that are being purchased have more demand behind them, or at least more confidence. For Wall Street, we at the same time see more confidence that, hey, institutions and companies alike, they're getting interested in cryptocurrency. This is a wave that cannot be stopped. We better start to learn this. We better start to evaluate and consider companies that are actually getting involved into this stuff. And I think for the companies themselves, it's a learning experience. They're recognizing this is a brand new opportunity to leverage technology, potentially gain a competitive advantage. At the very least, who knows, potentially make some money with investment.
Absolutely right. All those investment side pieces are fantastic and exciting. And then there's the other side of them actually launching metaverse style content and engaging with Web3 and the future of all of this stuff. As we like to say around here, security tokens are the stock market of the metaverse. We are perfectly positioned to take advantage of anything that these companies come out with. And that's just everything in a nutshell. Blockchain is fascinating. Another great episode. Thanks to everybody watching. We'll catch you next week for sure. Anything else we got to cover?
No, I don't think so, Kyle. I just want to let you know that we're always available for feedback, for questions and suggestions. We're on Twitter and on LinkedIn. We're always available. You can check out the website, stomarket.com, for all the trading news, activity, updates, and information. And of course, as always, check out the link in bio to go learn more about our crowdfunding campaign.
We'll talk to you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
And happy tokenizing.